Zanzana, l'émission métal.
Hi Sabaton, first question, what are you doing in Tunisia?
Well, we're here to film a music video for one of the songs from our latest album, The Great War, which is the song called Seven Pillars of Wisdom. And because the song is about Lawrence and pretty much the story which everybody knows from the movie Lawrence of Arabia. And that's after a lot of tries to do this movie and film it in like Spain, in Cyprus. We are now in Tunisia filming it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the real desert. And that's kind of the thing we've been discussing lately, that if we're going to do it, we'll do it properly, where we get the real Sahara Desert. And we're super stoked to be here. It's the first time on the continent, actually. So here we've only been here for 2 days. Did we come yesterday? We came yesterday.
We've been here for 1 day now.
24 hours. 24 hours.
The sun hits you.
Yes, it does. Yeah, and we already been seen. We saw already a lot, you know. So everybody's super happy to be here, and we can't wait to see what else we will see and what the result of the video will be.
So I have to say that this interview was registered in late August when you came to make the clip. So you came here a little bit secretly, but no one knows what you're here what you came to do.
Secret and not secret. I mean, parts of it, why we're here is secret. Oh, of course, everybody saw us when we entered the hotel. There was a choir there singing for us, and and it was kind of impossible to stay secret. There were people at the airport. There were, but so we cannot say that we try to hide that we're here, but we were trying to hide a little bit what we are doing here, not to reveal it to all the fans. So we spoiled the surprise for them. That was the idea, and I think once we get to the proper desert, there will be no selfies anymore.
So, first question: did you knew that you were very well known in Tunisia?
I actually know it from a long time ago. Actually, when the band was formed, about 20 years ago, I was contacted by a guy in Tunisia who had he published some articles about our first demo, reviewed it in a Tunisian rock magazine. I don't think that this magazine exists anymore, but and since then I've also done several interviews for that was published in Tunisia. But it's been a long time since I did anything like that. But we saw yesterday, we went to a bar, like a beach bar. And I was just sitting at the table, and some guy just came up with a shot, like, welcome. And I was like, how do you know? And he's like, of course I know you, welcome. And that was so nice, you know. So we know we have some fans here, at least.
Yeah.
At least one.
Mehdi.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are here from you began in 1999, and what is the secret of longevity for you?
I think that we all really wanted to do this even before we started Sabaton. It was in every person in the band's mindset that we ain't gonna do anything else. Like we're just gonna play heavy metal, and then once we get, you know, Sabaton on the road, and then the guys join Sabaton, and then Sabaton is like, you know, it's a train that will lead us to the end station where we wanted to go the moment we started to play our instruments. And there has been on the train, there has been some people getting on and off, but the train is on the track. And I think that the train must go and keep on the track. And now I hope that we stay with the same passengers until the end station.
Yeah, because you are one of the Sabaton that came after the beginning.
Yeah, I joined in 2013, and yeah. So, but anyway, the basic idea goes actually the same for me. Because sometimes when people would ask you, "What would you do if you were not a drummer or in playing music?" I don't really have an answer for it. There's some stuff I might think that the grass is greener on the other side. But even if it was a bit naive when you grew up, there was really no other option for me, and still there isn't. So to be able to be in a band with the same mindset is rare, actually, very rare.
I made an interview last year in the Download Festival with the singer of Avatar,
Johan.
Johan, yeah, and I asked him what the secret in Sweden of many bands. He told me that when you are 17, 18, someone goes to his parents and say, I want to be a musician. Parents say, okay, it's cool, you can do it. Because once at 25, 30, you can't make everything from the beginning and go to study if everything is finished.
There are safety nets in Sweden. There has been, at least. I mean, these are kind of disappearing, but Sweden provided a safety net for people who wanted to explore something else. And try, like, okay, I wanna, if it didn't work, you can go back and reshape your own and try again, so to say. And it leads definitely to it. But there are way more things. I mean, why there's a lot of great bands coming out of Sweden. I think also the mentality, the safety. You know, when people are feeling very comfortable, they get kind of creative, and this Sweden has been very comfortable for a long time, and this allows people to go into creative jobs instead of regular jobs.
Yeah.
There's also the governmental support which you can get even at a young age. You know, if it's basically if you're more than 3 people and you start a group of something that has to do with culture, more or less, even bird watching group, you will get financial support from the government to make it easier for you to do it, basically. And that goes for, I think if we didn't have that, at least speaking for myself, it would have been skateboard and graffiti and bad stuff probably. But here you got this amount of money, you could rent a drum kit or borrow cables, guitars, whatever, a rehearsal place. So at least personally, I have a lot to thank for that, for sure.
Yeah, we all have. I mean, growing up like that, there was always a support. These days they are lowering the support, which we don't like because we want more bands to pop up, you know. But they are doing less and less for the new started bands.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's true. Yeah.
Another thing very important for a band is to find something that makes its personality, and Sabaton's personality is power metal, but singing about war. That was a trademark.
It is definitely a trademark. It was something we tried because we wanted to find like some kind of topic about the band that we would feel something about. The first songs we were writing, we didn't feel anything. It was just like, okay, we need some lyrics, and we just write something. But we felt it was a waste of time and a waste of the songs to write lyrics that did not matter. So we were thinking a little bit about what can we write about that we find interesting, and that wherever in the world you can somehow, whoever you are, you can somehow relate to it. And the thing is that wherever you are, even if you are lucky to live in a country like Sweden where there hasn't been a war for 300 years, we can all relate to it in one way or another. Thanks to some people have actually lived it, some people have lived it through movies or books or other medias. And now we also retell these kind of stories through our music.
Yeah, but when you are a young musician and you want to write about lyrics, you have, or you write lyrics about love and friendship or something like this, or you are angry about society and you write lyrics about things like that. But war.
Yeah.
But you can find all those emotions in it, right? There's hope, there's frustration, there's joy, there's sadness. You know, it's a broad spectrum of emotions. So if you need it, it's in there, one way or another.
Yeah, and again, sure, writing about that, but we never wanted to write about anything personal, never. Music for us shouldn't be teaching people, or well, it is teaching people, but not telling people exactly how to live their lives, or affecting people in that way, or telling like, oh, I feel sorry for me because I don't feel well, or right now I'm super happy, so feel happy with me. It was not about personal. It was more about retelling a story, and the story is not our story.
Yeah, but another thing, it's maybe people could say that Sabaton writes about, war. It's dead, it's blood, it's misery, it's sad things, and when you hear songs about war, it's like glorifying war.
I definitely have to disagree there. I mean, we are telling stories in the same ways as a museum or a book or anything. We are just packaging it, and some people that maybe don't like to read a book or don't like to go to a museum, they can get the same history lesson from our songs, and maybe it inspires them to teach. And after all, to learn about history cannot really hurt. Of all the stuff that we have learned, and including traveling around the world, meeting cultures, meeting people from everywhere in the world, we get a pretty damn good view about the world, why it is like this. And knowing history helps you understand why some people don't like each other. It helps you understand why some people like each other. So it helps you understand why there's a border when you don't really why these people are the same, but why is there a border in between them? These kind of things are good to know, because it will help people not to be so, superstitious against each other, or
narrow-minded.
Yeah, narrow-minded. So I do not say that we glorify war, not at all. We're teaching history just as a book, as a museum, or something like that. We just put it in a different package, for some people more attractive, more easy accessible.
When I was coming here, I was listening to. When I was coming to you to make this interview, I was listening to your last album, and the song Verdun stayed in my mind. I was singing it. So your last album is. Okay, it's history about World War I, but it's always research in music. Even all the things are not the same. All the songs are not the same.
Definitely not. I mean, first of all, we find a lot of stories. It's very easy to do when we select a topic like World War I. There are way more stories than we can ever write songs for it. So in this case, it was quite easy to do the album. However, there is a lot of stories we would love to tell, but we don't have the music to tell them to. And then there are some other music that has sometimes difficulties to find a story, which is more rare. But looking at a topic like World War I, for us it's quite simple. And also to have the host of the Sabaton History Channel, which is Indiana Nidell, who is also the actor with us here down in Tunisia, and playing the role of Lawrence in the movie. And he is also a historian specialized in World War I, and to have him by our side when we are songwriting, it's an excellent, perfect guy to help us to make a great album.
Okay, so you made war. You made about heroes. You make an album about World War I. You know that Tunisians went in World War I and in Verdun and died in Verdun. It's yeah.
Really, that's news for me, but very interesting. Okay.
And there's World War II, and there was a Tunisian, lots of battles that was made in Tunisia.
This I'm more well aware of. World War II and Tunisian involvement, this is way more known story. And I mean, we've been to Verdun, but we had the album presentation in Verdun actually, and we took a lot of journalists there, and we presented the album for the first time. But this was completely news. Interesting.
Your interest in history and in the lyrics can make you go to older times. Can you make an album about Carthago? You went in Carthago today.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Super interesting.
Yeah, of course it's very interesting. But just about today, there was no fighting, which was nice for a change. So, but I mean, what are you supposed to say? The history is super rich, of course. There's tons of stuff to learn, and potentially stuff to write about as well, of course.
We did songs about past, I mean going further back in the past, and we have gone as far as to 2500 BC. So for us it's okay. It stops being history sort of and becomes a little bit based on legends and myths, but it's still very interesting, and it is still stories as far as they can be historically accurate. So yeah, there's been many battles of Carthage, and this is a super interesting time actually.
So, okay, last question. Where are we going to make a show in Tunisia? I hope in Carthago theater maybe.
That would be a dream coming true. And well, now we have been here, and I can't wait to come back.
First we go to Sahara Desert, and if we survive that guy, we'll try to make a show happen. Promise.
The guy is Mehdi Jouini. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Zanzana, l'émission métal.